Hey everyone, welcome to my first gym equipment product review. Today I decided to review the Kensui EZ Vest. So this is basically a product that is sold as kind of a vest that you could add a lot of weight to, to replace, the traditional vest that you really have to put the sandbags in that are a little bit bulky, hard to kind of bring to different gyms. So the selling point on this is I might be able to take it to my personal gym or something and use their free weights to kind of exercise with without having to carry around like a bulky weighted vest. So that was a good selling point. And then the other selling point kind of was that this could handle a lot of weight. So this is the most expensive version here. I believe this is over a few hundred pounds of weight capacity. So the most expensive version also has kind of the steel kind of handle here, so you can put heavy weight on. So just put them on. So the first kind of warning as far as like loading the plates go is that it's not super quick to put plates on and off. I know that these are kind of twist tops, and if you have a shorter handle, then you're going to be a little bit quicker as far as that goes. But generally speaking, it's not as quick as kind of putting a regular belt on and doing some kind of weighted dips that way or weighted pull-ups that way. But maybe for other exercises, this would be more efficient, I guess. We'll go over that in a second. So how this works is that there's essentially these little clips. They're metal that are in the front, and the back you kind of wrap around to the front here. So I'll kind of put this on. And while I'm putting this on, I'll explain another thing. Where if you have very heavy weight, say I have 50 pounds total on this, it's not so easy to put on without someone helping you. Or you end up having to have someone put on the weight after you put it on by itself, which can be troublesome too if you don't have the exercise partner. But when I was trying to put on this with, I think it was 50 pounds or maybe it was like 75 or 100 pounds. I forgot exactly how much, but it was very difficult to put on. I felt like I could have really hurt myself if I did it wrong. I've seen another video of a guy also kind of setting it up on a bar or something and kind of going underneath it to help him out. It's pretty cumbersome as well. So not sure how they could fix that. So notice that I kind of tighten these up, tighten these straps here, tighten this strap on the side. Now we're secure, right? Very secure. Or am I? Now, this is the biggest flaw with this product here. There's other ones, but this is like the thing that should basically make this product unsellable and unusable for anyone. Like, they shouldn't even be selling it at this point. Any kind of explosive movements, box jumps, running sprints, you can't use this product at all. Specifically because if I just, for example, pull this a little bit, if I'm just moving around, running, like just look at it move. And oh wow, I got to the point where the strap actually came off. I've had this thing for months, and the first week I tried to do exercises with it pretty consistently, and it always was an issue. Now, pull-ups aren't a huge issue, dips aren't a huge issue, planks aren't a huge issue. It's mildly inconvenient, but at the same time, it's like if it's a little loose, it's not gonna like hurt you that much. It's gonna be a little bit annoying that it keeps coming loose. But things like box jumps here. If I'm doing a box jump, and just think here, this weight, I could probably move it down a little bit. Maybe I'm a little bigger than most people. This is the biggest vest they have. But if I had like a 25-pound calibrated plate, it'd be like right here. So that'd be pretty close to my chin. Where if I'm jumping on this box here, like that, actually just loosened up a ton. And I can't, seemingly at the top every time, tighten this thing, right? And then do another jump. Now, if I don't tighten it, it keeps coming looser and looser. Like, it keeps coming looser and looser. Like, it. Imagine just running with it or trying to, like, I sometimes actually play basketball with my Velcro vest on just to feel like I'm actually getting an overload on my exercise. I'll use ankle weights or I'll use my Velcro vest. And I wouldn't be able to do that with this. If this thing gets loose, you're not going to be able to like move around efficiently. You're just going to have to keep tightening it up. And if you forget for whatever reason, and maybe you have a 25-pound plate on or even a 10-pound plate, that could potentially hit you right in the face. And the heavier the plates are too, the more it's actually going to move around because you have more momentum pulling it forwards. It's a pretty critical issue. Now, they could have easily fixed this by just releasing a version that had Velcro. Literally all they had to do was probably, another thing they probably should have done is make this a little bit lower, right? Have the Velcro strap go across your belly and double Velcro. So basically put one Velcro here and the other Velcro over. So it's adjustable in that way. That would be super solid. It wouldn't move around at all. And that's essentially how other weighted vests are done. I could show you my other one. Take this one off here. So this is my super cheap Academy Sports weighted vest that I've had for about 10 years. And you can notice that there's a Velcro right here. So there's other annoying things about this one that is the reason I bought the Kensui vest in the first place. Specifically just, having sandbags, kind of annoying, being able to like take a couple out at a time if you're trying to adjust a weight. Pretty much just keep on the full 40 pounds. Or if you lose a sandbag, you lose it. And then you're down a pound or two. So Velcro here. Velcro there. Super solid at this point. So any type of plyometric exercises, running, sprinting, you're not gonna be able to use the Kensui vest at all. You're better off with something like this. Or I haven't used the Rogue vest, but I think that one as well. I might end up buying that one unless Kensui can come up with a replacement for this with Velcro, which I feel like they should probably provide to their existing customers for free, considering how bad this one is. So on this too, I just don't understand. I haven't seen any negative reviews on it that kind of go into this issue, which is surprising to me. Maybe people aren't using it for explosive movements, but there's also very significant limitations on some of the other exercises that I can get into as well. So traditionally what I've been doing for any kind of weighted pull-ups or weighted dips, I've been using this dark iron fitness belt that is pretty easy to kind of use. It has some carabiners here that you just kind of loop this through any of your weights. So if you have any weights with holes in them, this would work fine. And all you got to do, connect it there. And then there's this belt here. I usually put it on top of, put that box in, make it easier. So I just strap this in right here. Strap this around. And then hang it. So obviously, you're not going to be able to do any kind of explosive movements with this either. But, you can't do explosive movements with this in the first place. So, I think where this would have sold itself is if you could have done more of the explosive movements with it, but you can't. So this, for me, has been a lot easier to do kind of pull-ups and take on, take off. Like I said earlier, if you're having heavy weight, you really can't take this on an awful lot. So you're gonna have to sit around with it, or else it's gonna be very cumbersome. If you're trying to load weight incrementally over time, you have to unscrew this thing, put new plates on, and then go again, which takes a while. With this dark iron fitness belt, all you need to do is essentially unclick your carabiner, slide a new weight on, and put it back on. Very quick, easy. And then also you can kind of take this off in between sets very easily without an issue. So with dark iron fitness belt, I can, have this hang down a little bit. Some people might be annoyed by this hanging. doesn't bother me whatsoever. You know, I have full shoulder mobility here outside of my shirt being a little tight, and you know, this is 45 pounds. Very easy. No issues with shoulder mobility. Now with the Kensui vest, as I put this on, it doesn't take a super long time when it's lightweight like this, but like I said, if it's heavier weight, it becomes more cumbersome. Taking plates on and off is more cumbersome. So definitely feels better not having weights below. But here's the first limiting factor here is your shoulder mobility is a little bit restricted because this thing is quite thick here. Maybe other models is a little bit thinner. Quite thick here. It's actually like pushing my shoulder blades kind of into my neck. It's pushing this thing into my neck, making it a little bit more restrictive. So this, you know, the other thing was 45 pounds. This is 10 pounds. So it's not horrible for pull-ups. It is a little bit restricting, and if you have heavy weight, it's going to be significantly harder. So if I were to just purchase something for any kind of weighted dips, weighted pull-ups, it would be more weighted belts. Like the Dark Iron Fitness one is amazing. I think weighted planks are actually one of the best exercises for this. Pull-ups being okay, dips being okay. You know, as you're having, you know, plank here, you really overload and get good core workout. Obviously, you cannot do this with a weighted belt. You could do this with a Velcroed sandbag vest, but this you can get significantly more weight on. So I think I would actually use this for it. And it's not explosive, so these things aren't going to come off, even though as I got heavier, if I put like, you know, 25 on the front, 25 on the back, sometimes that actually pulls down too, so it's a little bit annoying there, but it's okay. For push-ups, this front, a little long. I think they have a different size too you can buy. So you can actually get further range of motion. But generally speaking, if you're trying to get far down, you're hitting that right there. So what you could do, you say, well, this peg is removable, so I can take it out. The problem is you can't just put all the weight in the back. It basically would strangle you like this. So you have 50 pounds back there. This thing will just strangle you. You kind of have to keep it semi-balanced to that extent. Let's go over the different exercises that I've done with this and the grade that I would give those exercises with this vest here. So first being box jumps. Box jumps, I would give this an F. Any type of explosive movements, generally box jumps, sprinting, running, any kind of, you know, basketball, any kind of sport that you're just trying to use this as an accessory. Maybe I'm playing tennis or something and I want to, you know, have more weight on to be more explosive. Any type of, you know, explosive movements, this gets an absolute F. If they just incorporated this design with Velcro, you likely could have got a B or an A. Very simple change. It probably would save them cost too, not having to deal with these clips. So pretty unfortunate, to be honest with you, especially considering the price point. The pull-ups, I would give probably a C to this. Maybe a B to some people. I could even see a D for other people. It really depends. Like, your limiting factor is, first of all, the shoulder mobility, and then also being able to take it on, putting it on, and then taking it off. And the more weight you have, is going to become a problem. So I would say C for me, more probably C minus for me, but I'll give it a C. Probably D for some people, probably B for other people. Sometimes it's better than actually having the thing hanging off you, but, you know, lightweight, probably okay. heavyweight, really annoying. Next exercise, which I didn't actually demonstrate. I didn't want to have to get my dip bar out here and attach it to my rack, but dips should be more of a B. Because just the shoulder mobility is not a limiting factor with dip this much. You know, you're kind of pushing like this. You're not having to worry about your shoulders getting stuck in between these things. So dips is definitely a B for me. The reason it's not A is obviously the, you know, loading heavy weight on, taking it off is a problem. The next thing we have planks. Planks I would also give a B2. Planks probably the one thing I would use it for, because I don't have obviously a way of loading more weight with planks outside of this. You know, my sandbag vest is only 40 pounds. Obviously with planks you cannot use a weighted belt. I mean, the only thing I could do is have my wife probably put on a steel plate on my back, but obviously that's not sustainable if I'm working by myself. So I would only use this thing for really weighted planks today. Push-ups, depending on whether or not you have a smaller peg. If you have a smaller peg, maybe it's a B minus. The way it is right now, it's pretty much a D because I can't get low. What you could do also to ignore this thing is, you know, get your actual little, what are they, parallel bars or something, so you could actually get deeper on your push-ups, and that would kind of eliminate this being a peg. So maybe it would be a B. So quick rundown. Got an F for explosive movements. You have a kind of a C for pull-ups, B for dips, and then you have kind of a B for your planks, and a B, maybe a C for your push-ups, depending on, you know, how you're going to use it. For those things that I gave a high rating to, the only ones that this is functional for is really push-ups and you know, planks. The other things I would have used the weighted belt for, the Dark Iron Fitness, much easier to take on and off. And the last thing is, I really wanted this for explosive movements, and it's unusable. So I'm very disappointed from that. But maybe the next iteration of this, you know, Kensui, maybe you could send me for free, because I don't understand why I had to pay almost $200 for this thing where I cannot really use it. So yeah, peace out, y'all.